About 3 weeks ago now, I planted some transplants in here of pak choi, which are these on the left, and interplanted them with some young calabrese plants. Now the idea is that we want to start picking the leaves of the pak choi, treat them like our salad leaves, so just by picking them on the outside to keep them to regrow. And as they die back as the cold weather comes in, the calabrese, being a cold weather crop, should kick on nicely. It's a great way to keep your beds filled using the no-gen system. Hi everybody, welcome back. We are today talking about no-dig, and we're going to look at the pros and cons of it, how to do it, the benefits of it, and can we incorporate it into our regen practices. Now, regular viewers are going to know that I primarily base all my growing experiences around the no-dig system. It's worked very, very well for me here. This year in particular, I've had a reduction in the amount of water I've been using or needed by 50% through the hose pipe. I've not had any increase in rainfall. We're quite dry here. I get on average around about 60 millimeters of rain in the month. That's a big difference to, say, the UK. So obviously I rely on my own water supply from my own borehole here, and I use the hose. And 50% less for me is pretty good going. I'm really happy about that. But that's all to do with how I've been regenerating the soil here, because I'm able to hold more moisture. And a big part of that has definitely been using the principles of no-dig. Now, there's various extremes as far as no-dig is concerned, but one thing it has taught me is that it can be a bit restrictive. I mentioned that in a recent video, which is why I've moved away partly from no-dig, but not completely. Now we're going to hand over to James, and he is going to go through the whole principle behind it, so you get more of an understanding, and then when we come back we're going to talk about what I'm going to do to go forward. So let's go over to James.
Hello and welcome back. So we come to no-dig. Now let's get into it. And don't forget you can join us anytime by clicking our logo bottom right of your screen. No-dig gardening is a sustainable gardening approach that involves layering organic materials on top of the soil instead of disturbing or digging into it. The underlying principle is to mimic the natural processes of soil formation and nutrient cycling. Some of the benefits of no-dig gardening are: bigger harvests. No-dig beds have been shown to produce bigger veg harvests than those that are dug over. This is because the soil structure and fertility are preserved and enhanced by the organic matter and the soil life. Saving time. No-dig gardening means you'll spend less time digging, weeding and watering. You also save money on fertilizers and pesticides, as the soil will be healthier and more resilient. Less weeding. No-dig gardening reduces the amount of weed seeds and roots that are brought to the surface by digging. The layer of organic matter also acts as a weed-suppressing mulch, making it harder for weeds to germinate and grow. Good for your body. No-dig gardening is easier on your back and joints, as you don't have to bend over and dig the soil. It's also more enjoyable and relaxing, as you can focus on planting and harvesting rather than tilling and weeding. Better drainage and less watering. No-dig gardening improves the water retention and drainage of the soil, as the organic matter helps to create air spaces and channels for water to flow through. This means you'll need to water less often, and your plants will be less prone to drought or waterlogging. To start a no-dig garden, you'll need some basic materials and tools. Organic matter. This can be well-rotted manure, compost, leaf mold, spent mushroom compost, old straw, grass clippings, etc. You'll need enough to cover your soil with a layer of at least 5 to 15 centimeters or 2 to 6 inches thick. Cardboard or newspaper. This is optional, but it can help to smother any existing weeds or grass before you apply the organic matter. Make sure to remove any staples, tape or plastic from the cardboard or newspaper. Spade or fork. This is only needed if you have to clear any large rocks, roots or debris from your soil before you start. Otherwise, you don't need to dig or till your soil at all. Rake or hoe. This is useful for spreading and leveling the organic matter on your soil surface. You can also use it for shallow hoeing to remove any weeds that emerge later on. Watering can or hose. This is needed to water your soil after you apply the organic matter, and to keep it moist until you plant your crops. You also need to water your plants regularly during dry periods. The steps for creating a no-dig garden are: choose a site, pick a sunny spot with good drainage and access to water. You can make a no-dig garden on any type of soil, but avoid areas with heavy clay or rocky soils, as they may take longer to improve. You can also use raised beds, containers or pots for no-dig gardening. Clear the site. Remove any large rocks, roots or debris from your soil surface. If you have a lot of weeds or grass, you can either pull them out by hand or cover them with cardboard or newspaper to smother them. Wet the cardboard or newspaper thoroughly to make it stick to the ground. Overlap the edges by at least 15 centimeters or 6 inches to prevent any gaps where weeds can grow through. Add organic matter. Spread a thick layer of organic matter over your soil surface, covering the cardboard or newspaper if you used it. The layer should be at least 5 to 15 centimeters or 2 to 6 inches thick, but you can make it thicker if you want to improve your soil faster or grow deeper rooted crops. Rake or hoe the organic matter evenly over your soil surface. Water it well to moisten it and help it settle down. Plant your crops. You can plant your crops directly into the organic matter layer, without disturbing the soil underneath. Make sure to plant them at the right depth and spacing for their type and variety. Water them well after planting and keep them moist until they establish themselves. You can also sow seeds directly into the organic matter layer, but you may need to cover them lightly with some more organic matter or fine compost to protect them from birds or pests. Maintain your garden. Keep your no-dig garden well watered during dry periods, and check for any weeds that may emerge. You can remove them by shallow hoeing or by hand weeding. Avoid using chemical weed killers, as they may harm your soil life and your crops. You can also add more organic matter to your soil surface every year or every season, depending on how fast it breaks down and how much you harvest. This will help to replenish the nutrients and maintain the fertility and structure of your soil.
What do you think to the new sign? I thought I'd put one up just to remind me and any new viewers here that we're actually in the office. Another word for that is shed. Anyway, so there was a video there by James all about no dig. Now, the idea of getting that video out to you is to give you a really good understanding of the principles behind it. It is an extremely popular method of gardening, and it's been made popular by Charles Dowding. We all know him. However, is everything he's saying right? Well, that is open to debate. And what we'll be doing in the next video is bringing all these different theories we've been looking at over the last week or so, putting them all into the pot and going through each one of them to see the good things and the bad things, because every single one of these theories does have a good and does have a bad, including no dig. Although there may be more goods than bads in the various theories, if that makes sense to you. I think I understand what I'm saying. But we do need to explore them all and figure out how we can take all these different theories and bring them in under the Regen banner. James and I have only really covered a few of the theories that are out there. There's a lot more. And there's a lot more historical ones as well that we don't really consider at the moment. But the idea behind all this, what we want to do is be able to look at all these different ones and choose the best bits that fit under the Regen banner, because we can't do all of them. It's just impossible. And as I've said before, not one theory is the best, otherwise we would all be doing it, wouldn't we? But for sure, no dig has played a big part in the success of the abundance of my vegetable growing season this year so far, without doubt. Another major player of that is not using chemicals and being organic. By reviewing all these theories, we are going to see that a lot of them have things in common with each other. And what we really want to do is bring it all under one banner of Regen, because by doing that, everyone can be part of it. There'll be no restrictions. Life will be a lot easier, certainly a lot less complicated, and we'll have more time to enjoy the things that we want to be doing, like getting out in our garden and our spaces and growing our own fruit and veg, sustainably, organically, and being mindful of our environment and our climate and protecting that for the future. Now, I know I've missed off quite a few other theories. Korean gardening is another one, Jadam, or a different name. But we have to draw the line somewhere and start concentrating on our aim here, which is to continue this journey about regen and finding the ways to do it. Now, after that, we're going to be looking at some really interesting subjects, what I think they are, and it's going to change your opinion. It's going to change your opinion about how we sow things, when we sow them. We're also going to be looking at weeds, good or bad. There's a lot of debate on that one. I'm going to be using weeds to my own advantage under the regen system. So if you haven't already, hit the logo, join the channel and keep learning more and become a much more productive gardener, producer, whatever you want to call yourselves. We don't really have titles here. Well, I suppose we do have two titles, Ryder the dog, Jack the cat. I really do hope that you are getting something out of this. I can see the interest on the channel is just going crazy, and I'm really, really pleased for that. And thanks to all the recent subscribers as well. It's great. You've got any questions, by all means, please let me know what they are. Leave me a comment down below, or you can contact me on my email address. It's entirely up to you how you want to do it. And you can find me on Facebook. I think you can find me on Instagram and also LinkedIn as well. So I'm everywhere. I'm getting like a rash. I'm excited about it because I can see the potential of this. It's going to bring in so many people. No one's going to be made to feel an outsider and try and be part of a club, but they don't know how to join. This is dead easy. Spent months researching this, and this is the first opportunity I've had in the last 10 days, 14 days to really start getting this message out there. It's important, and it's so easy for all of us to follow. We shouldn't just be part of one particular group and being constrained by those rules and regulations that stop us doing what we really want to do at the end of the day. Grow a carrot or lettuce, potato, whatever. We won't talk about potatoes. So after the last few weeks or months of researching all this, I can see that this is definitely the way to be looking at stuff. We can bring all the other theories, all the other social groups under the one banner. Now, if in the next video, we're going to look at bringing all these theories under one umbrella and looking at all the different principles of each and then bringing it into regen, I've got one for you we can use now. Permaculture talks about being inclusive, to integrate and not segregate. See, I have done my homework. Did you see that video? We can do the same with this because we can integrate all these other different gardening theories and all the different social media channels like the Organic Growers group on Facebook or the No-Till Growers on Instagram or whatever it might be. Bring them all in together and then everybody can integrate with each other and share their experiences or their knowledge with one another. That's got to be a good thing, hasn't it? I leave you with that thought. Look out for the next video and I'll catch you very soon.